Welcome to episode 3 of Wrestling with the Mind. I normally release these episodes a little bit later in the week, but over the weekend I got to spend some time with a good friend of mine, Tim Storm, and it's always great to catch up with him, but I asked him if he would be interested in recording a chat with me, and he said yes instantly. And so we sat down and had one of my favorite conversations that I've ever had with him. Well, we recorded it in my car in the middle of the pouring rain. So a little bit in the background, you can hear some rain. Maybe that'll relax you. Could put you to sleep. I don't know. But it's a fun, inviting chat where we talk about mental health and wrestling, as well as his role as a teacher and how he balances the two out. I'm excited to bring that to you today. Before we dive in, I thought it could be cool to do a little something different and a little bit of a guided meditation just to get you in a relaxed mindset. If this is not your thing, that's totally okay. You can skip ahead about 2 minutes or so and get right into the interview. But for those of you that would be interested, I want to invite you now to do this with me. So find a comfortable seated position, either on the chair or on the floor. You can close your eyes or keep them gently focused on a point in front of you. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. As you breathe, try to release any tension or stress in your body. Now, let's bring our attention to the present moment. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a beautiful lake. The water is calm and clear. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, take a step into the lake. The water is warm and inviting. As you walk deeper into the lake, the water reaches your waist. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of any thoughts or worries that may be on your mind. Take another step, and the water is now at your chest. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of any tension in your body. Keep walking until the water reaches your neck. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of any stress or negative emotions. You are completely surrounded by the calm and peaceful water. Take a few more deep breaths, and when you feel ready, slowly open your eyes. Remember to take this sense of calm and peace with you as you go about your day to day. Now, let's dive into my chat with Tim Storm. Tim, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. We're back in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I'm not in the car driving, so.
But we're sitting in a car.
We are sitting in a car.
In the rain.
Pretty romantic, actually.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Population 200 in this town.
But we're right next to Hamburg, Arkansas.
We are.
Home of Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. Okay.
There you
okay.
go.
And if you look at it this way, every choice, every decision you've made your entire life, everything you've ever accomplished, right, has brought you to this car.
Yes.
In the rain.
Yes.
In Fountain Hill, Arkansas today.
No place I'd rather be.
Yeah.
This is great, man.
Well, hey, thank you for popping in here for just a few minutes. And for the people listening, we've got wrestling people, and then we've got a good just general audience of people that are interested in the podcast in general because, we are diving into mental health and things, but don't really know the wrestling side of it. So for those listening, what's a bird's eye view here of Tim Storm? Can you just give us a little introduction to yourself and just who you are?
Okay. Well, there's two sides.
Mm-hmm.
There's the wrestling side. I've been wrestling, I think, 26 years now. I started when I was 32. I'll be 59 next month. I've been very fortunate, very blessed with a lot of good opportunities and to meet a lot of good people like you. And I mean that, by the way. That's not the hey, we're doing a podcast, be nice. And that that have helped me, and I've had a lot of good opportunities. So I've had a minimal, some success in wrestling, and that's a good thing. The other side, I've been married for 35 years, and I've got 2 adult children and 6 grandchildren, and I'm a school teacher, which kind of opposite sides of the spectrum for wrestling.
Yeah.
My passion is wrestling, but I got to pay my bills too.
Absolutely. And you know, it's crazy to see how you can balance the teaching side of things, right? And then bouncing from teaching during the day to being at one point, NWA World Heavyweight Champion at nighttime.
Yeah.
And just that mindset switch. It's very challenging for many of us to do.
And the post-COVID, post all that kind of stuff that happened, I think the bigger challenge is being a teacher right now. It's so true. It's tough. So this other side, the wrestling side, that's my relief. That's my outlet.
And at the end of the day, like you said, the wrestling is the outlet, and the teaching side. The teachers right now, especially, are needed and deserve so much more than what they get, and so much more respect too. What does good mental health look like for you?
I think all of us struggle at times. I think that's a normal part of life. I'm going to compare it to, my mind works in analogies, by the way, so This is my analogy. It's like when you talk to another person, another wrestler, another human being about pain. Pain's different for everybody. I can say, wow, my back really hurts. To me, that could be a 4. To somebody else, that could be a 10. Somebody else, that could be a 1, but it's all the same level of pain. It's all how we handle it. And I think mental health is kind of the same way. It's like how we handle that, what stresses me, what causes me anxiety and tension and challenges me. To somebody else, that might be a joke,
right?
To somebody else, it might be a major thing. And it's, you use the word balance. To me, that's the key. I have to keep things balanced. I am not the most organized person in the world. I'm not necessarily the most disciplined person in the world, but I am annoyingly consistent. I'm a creature of habit. When I get up in the morning, I do the same things. I go to the gym every day at the same time, because I've learned if I don't go, first off, I'm going to be more tense and more stressed.
Is that the morning thing? Is that first thing in the morning?
No, to me, that's right. I'm a terrible morning person.
Okay.
I'm the guy that lays his clothes out at night and has his lunch ready to go, because I'm a zombie until about 9 or 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I can officially leave school at 3:45. I usually do. And I'm usually in the gym by 4:15.
Okay.
And I do that.
Is that a de-stress after a school day?
It's a de-stress, but it's also, for the wrestling side, I joke, but it's also, there's a lot of truth to it, that at 59, my body is broken down. I won't make the list. We all have our list of things that hurt. Again, you can't compare it. So, but for me, it's, I tell people I make my money from the curtain to the ring.
Yeah.
I have to look like a wrestler. I have to look as good as I can look, because once I get in there, I'm really limited. I can't do what I could 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
Right.
So it's a de-stressor, but it's also part of the preparation for the other part that I love.
On my end, and I've mentioned this, I think, last week even, how I used to be a later in the day workout guy, right? And just the way how mentally things have changed for me over the last couple of years. Job interaction, doing more like health coaching and things. Right. And so throughout the day, I'm working with these people, but I'm kind of taking on some of their stress and their situations. So I now have to start my morning off. I wake up at 5:30. I go to the gym, get that out of the way, just to have that that mindset prep for the day. Right. Just that having that piece of that bringing that balance before I dive into stressful situations with clients and people that I talk to. So it's cool to see how for different people, like you said, for one person something can feel or be one thing, and for another it's a totally different situation. So you find it more valuable to have that later in the day.
I find it more productive for me. Okay. But you know what? I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
That if you're the person who is, because I am a good listener in life, but right. I've never thought about the fact that you're taking on the stress. I mean, you really are. It's like an empath, right? I mean, you're empathetic to what they're feeling, but you also kind of you feel for them. And I haven't thought about the stress that could.
And it's like, and every coach is different too. So, I deal with health coaching. So I'm working with people through nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress, whatever they may be juggling with at the time. And some coaches can be, go with the flow and just push through, and it's just another number, just another day. I tend to really ask a lot of questions and really try to invest myself into the people that I work with. And so that stress kind of does pile up on me. And then I've noticed on days that I don't work out, at the end of the day, I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, what a day, this has been.
You said, I'm going to ask you a question real quick, if you don't mind.
No.
This is personal. For me, how much, because I don't sleep well anymore.
Right.
How much does that play into, I know how much it plays into physical, as far as being productive in the gym and getting results, but mental stress, how much does that play in?
This is something that I've chat with different people about, and I think part of it is who you are and how that balances. But in general, people need sleep. They need sleep for their body to recover and heal, and that's not just from workouts. They need sleep for their body to heal from all the mental load that they've taken on that day. That's that reset point. That's when our body is regulating things and balancing life back out. And I personally try to aim for 6 or 7 hours sleep. It used to be better, but now, my daughter is 4 years old. And so middle of the night, pretty much every night, it's right as soon as I think I'm hitting that REM sleep, she bounces in the bed and whatever's happened and she wants to sleep. And then I toss and turn from that point out. Right. And that's every day now. But,
and it gets better. The 4-year-old part gets better.
Yeah. And no, I love it though too at the same time, because, so many people I've talked to with the kids that are grown up and stuff, they're like, you got to cherish that time and those moments, even when you might get frustrated at that point, soak it up. And so I really try to do so. But yeah, sleep is very important. And I suggest you get more of it, Tim.
Boy, I sure try. I know. I think as you get older, I think sleep becomes more of a challenge. You don't know that yet because you're still a young guy, but
I don't know though. I mean, sleep ever since, especially wrestling, throws our schedules off like crazy. Yep. We have to try to juggle whatever 9 to 5 job might be, right? And then doing 3 or 4 shows a week on a hot week, where we're staying up till 3, 4 in the morning, making the next town or driving. Well,
like for you tonight, are you driving back tonight?
Driving part way, but it was 10 hours here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like for us, it's 6 hours home. We're driving home.
Yeah.
If we're lucky to get out here by 10, the best we can hope for is 4:30, and now that's Sunday. I'll sleep some, go to the gym, but we're starting Monday all over again.
But and the older I get, it's harder to balance things back out after a loop.
Yeah. Well, and physically, it's harder to recover.
It's true. How do you feel? The wrestling business. You've been doing this a long time. And that's not an old joke.
Yeah,
it's not a stab.
We've been friends a long time. Everything's a stab. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I was telling you the other day though on the phone. I said, you might be older than me by a few years, right? Maybe maybe many years, right? Okay. But you hold it well, right? And you don't look like you've aged in the last 15 years that I've known you, right? Me, okay. I look in the mirror. I'm now gray. My hair's thinning out, and I feel it. You look the same Tim Storm that I met in 2006, 7, 8, whatever.
But realize in 2006, 2007, 8, I'm probably your age now, which is when I cut my mustache because I was tired of trimming the gray out.
Yeah.
It's when I cut my long hair to hide the bald spot.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just saying it happens. It happens to all of us.
So how do you feel wrestling has impacted your mental health? Good and bad.
I don't want to, and I really mean this, I don't want to turn it into a woe is me thing. So obviously when you have physical issues, and the longer you wrestle, the harder you wrestle, the higher level you wrestle, the more pain you're going to be dealing with. That's just a part of it. And we accept that. I tell people all the time, I don't regret anything, and I would do it all over again. Every bump, maybe one I would take back. But it's physically, it's obviously impacted. I think for me, at least, it does bring some additional stress sometimes. But for me, it's my stress relief. I look forward to my weekends. I don't look forward necessarily to 10-hour drives.
Right.
But I love it. That is my happy place. I've said this for legitimately 20 years, but I've been saying I don't know how many more matches I have, and So in the ring is actually my happy place. It's my stress relief, and I don't feel stress going to the ring. I don't feel pressure to perform because I just think
it's the one place where you get to be you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the business part of wrestling, and I'm not sure it's changed that much because it's always been that way. There's always politics in wrestling. There's always drama in wrestling,
and there always will be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you look at from when you started to now, do you feel that the focus on the mental health impact it makes has improved? That people take it a little bit more serious? I mean, because we're looking at concussion impacts and how that affects just daily life and mental health. You're looking at the stress from the situations and the pressure, the peer pressure that can be involved. You're looking at how lonely the road can be sometimes, and that people are becoming a little more aware to those situations. And I feel, from what I've seen over the last few years, it's slowly starting to improve.
The concussion issue, actually, we were discussing that on the drive up here, is absolutely people are more aware of. You have been a part of a time when, I mean, I bet you that you don't know how many concussions you have because most of us don't, right? I mean,
last I counted of the ones where they rocked me so bad that I know, I was at 8.
Okay, and that's, I would guess, statistically way higher than a normal.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the car, we had 5 guys in the car, which that's normal wrestling. Pack them in and let's split gas. But 3 of us had played college football, high school football. Add those all up. So concussion protocol awareness, I think that's absolutely better. We came up at a time when you just finished the match. Period. You didn't
work through,
and you didn't tell anybody,
and then you
because
made
you were
the
a
next
whiner.
night too.
Absolutely,
you went to the next town.
I think that there's more awareness across the board for people being aware of mental health issues, possibilities, depression. I think people are more sensitive to that. We all need help sometime. And I think one of the biggest things that has changed is you can ask for help now. And that doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a whiner. We all need help.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to ask.
That's something, too, that I really want to use this podcast to put out there for people. Because, I mean, I've got friends. You've got friends and peers that we have known over the years that have, we all know people in wrestling that have died, right? And that alone has put a lot of hurt on people in the business. Just we're losing brothers and sisters. But we both know at least probably a handful apiece of people we're close and personal to that have committed suicide or attempted it. And they felt like, or I assume, now listen, I'm assuming, but they assumed that they were in this position where they couldn't ask for help or that nobody would care.
And then if we could come up with a statistic on the number of people who didn't try but have thought about it, I bet that doubles.
Yeah.
I think that's a thought that comes into a lot of people's head as an answer. It's not an answer. I would say to anybody, all of us need a circle of people that we trust. Over the years, I have a very small, tight circle of people that I can go to, and I can say, man, I'm really struggling with this,
right?
And in most cases, they'll say, wow, because I remember a year ago, I was struggling with the same thing. Right. Or, I mean, we have a tendency to kind of crawl into our own heads and our own bodies, and we think it's just me. Nobody cares. I'm the only one that is feeling this way. And the truth is, most people, 95% of the people are going to get there at some point.
Yeah.
And we all handle it different. So I would just say, and if you don't have a circle of friends, reach out. You need people that you can go to and ask for help. And if nothing else, say, I'm really struggling and I don't know what to do. And we just kind of build it up in our heads that nobody's going to care, or they're going to laugh at us, or they're going to say no or not have time. And we have to get past that. I had to, but that's why I have the friends that I have, because I know I can go to them.
Yeah. And there are so many options now. specifically for, we're coming at it from the wrestling point of view too, right? But like I said earlier, we do have general audience, and there's people that just 9-to-5 job, or maybe they are in entertainment or music or nurse or teacher, like you were saying. There are so many resources now that are available for therapy and things mobily, where you don't have to go into an office. You can do things over the phone. I think the suicide hotline, or the suicide and crisis line now, they've been putting a lot more focus and attention on improving that, making it easier, easily accessible for people. So there are options that way. And then there's communities. I mean, we're trying to build up one through this podcast, and that's going to take time. But there are groups on Facebook and things like that you can join and talk to people in the same kind of situations as you.
Well, and again, for anybody that's listening, it's just don't think you're alone. Don't think you're the only one. Don't isolate yourself.
Yeah.
Just reach out, find a friend, find somebody, make a friend. Like you said, call one of the hotlines and just say. And you don't have to. You're not panicking. You're not being an extremist. You're just being a realist.
Yeah.
Don't think we have to do this alone. And you named a whole lot of things, and I mean, a position like jobs, and I would say that every single one of those jobs, whether it's musician or performer or wrestler or teacher, whatever, there are stresses that come with that.
Absolutely. And then just look at the world around you on top of it all.
It is not. It's not an easy world to live in.
No.
Boy, I don't want to panic you at all, but I mean, I can't imagine. You got a 4-year-old. I can't imagine raising a child at this time.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. No, I know. You're doing a great job.
No, and it is challenging, and that's something that. So my wife and I decided homeschooling.
Okay.
Just because safety,
right?
And just being able to monitor things like that, just going into her growth and whatnot. And it's not that I don't find value in schools. I found super value in schools. Yeah. I think they need more funding. I think we need more teachers.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be more support for those places. So in Knoxville, Tennessee, where I live, the schools are not terrible, but we do have kids that show up to school with guns occasionally. Mm-hmm. We have classrooms that are over 150% over the capacity. Teachers that are just quitting left and right.
Yep.
And
I saw the national average.
It's not a good combination.
The national average, I saw this on something, at least in Texas. I don't know that it was a national average, but it said that turnover within a 1-year period was at about 17%. That's a lot of people leaving the profession. And I'm hesitant to. I don't want to make this a depressing thing.
Yeah.
But we did we have to do professional development, and we have to have a certain number of hours.
Right.
One of our professional developments when we came back from Christmas break was called Stop the Bleeding. And the state of Texas has a bill that was passed in 2020 that says every teacher is required to have combat medical training. And the way they started it was, it's not, again, I don't want to terrify everybody.
Right.
It's not if it's going to happen at your school, it's when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And how are you going to handle a shooting or a bomb or whatever may happen? And you talk about adding stress. I mean, I remember.
How much pressure does that add to the teacher?
I looked at my friend, my teacher that I teach with, and I said, "Wow, this got dark fast."
Yeah.
I'm going to come back from Christmas, and that's the training we get. But it's, I get it. You have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Terrible that we're at that point.
Yeah.
That is a requirement now.
Man.
But
I got dark. Let's change. Let's go to something happier. I'm depressing myself here.
There is light around,
is.
and I'll for example, right? I come here today. This is a 10-hour drive, and this sounds cheesy, right? But I know I get to hang out with Tim Storm, and I'll tell you why. Because from day one, when I met you, right, and I'm traveling, I was doing these loops, and we met, I think, in Arkansas. I don't remember where we met, but I think it was Arkansas. And ever since that day, you have been one of the most legitimately positive people. Your work ethic is impeccable. You're constantly training hard, which I admire people who train hard, number one. But and then in the locker room, I'm fresh in this locker room in this area. I'm a Tennessee guy, and I'm in Arkansas in this crazy new loop. and you treated me like I was just one of the normal crew, and
But you are.
and we start talking. I know now,
Yeah.
but we start talking. We're laughing. We're cutting up and making jokes, and that's how the locker room should be.
Right.
And kind of accepting but fun. And then when it's time to get serious and do business, you get serious and do business.
Yeah.
But just a fun environment and a good environment and a positive one. And everywhere we've been together, which has been pretty much Kansas over the East together. It's always fun to catch up and click with you because I get to pick on you for being an old man, and you get to pick on me for being a young old man.
Never. I was telling the guys, one of the guys that I know that you're wrestling tonight is in the car, and I told him you are legitimately one of the funniest guys that I know. No pressure. Tell a joke.
Oh, well,
you tell a joke now. No, I mean that. I like being around you, and when you say treat you like you are, it's like, and the truthfully, I'm in a locker room.
Yeah,
I rode with guys that I know pretty well, but I know you better than most of the guys in the locker room. Right. I mean, we form through this weird business. We form a family, and we form relationships that just don't go away. So, like you said, I was looking forward to seeing you, and it's a good thing. It's what in most sports, because I think about when am I done all the time? Like when do I have to stop?
Never. Is the
well,
answer.
I don't. Well, first off, I'm never going to retire.
Yeah.
I'm just going to disappear.
Right.
But it's and even like in other sports, in football, basketball, whatever, the thing that guys women miss is the locker room. They miss being around their friends.
That community.
And that's what I'm very fortunate. Although my happy place is in the ring, but at least in other places I'm doing commentary.
Yeah.
At least I'm around, still in the locker room. I'm still around the guys.
And I'm not there right now, but you're at NWA.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot with Billy Corgan's NWA, and this isn't a wrestling podcast by any means, but I've done some shows recently with you guys, the Crockett Cup and whatnot last year. That locker room is nothing but good people.
It is,
and people that they want to work together and push for a good product, right? But they're just good-hearted, supportive, encouraging people that I love to see. And it was great to see when I popped in for a cup of coffee last year.
Well, you should be there more. I said that earlier, that you should be there.
Yeah.
I wish I had the slightest amount of stroke. I can make anything happen.
Well, I'm going to send this copy to
send it.
Billy Corgan.
Glad I didn't say anything about stress. But it's like the locker room there, and this you can apply this to life. But it's we've joked that it's resurrected a lot of wrestling careers. That if you look around that locker room, and I'm not going to name names because a lot of them are my really good friends, but it's guys in the business who were at the top level who were completely burnt out and said, "I'm never wrestling again." They were talked into coming one time,
right?
And they saw what you saw, and then you end up with a locker room of a bunch of guys.
It makes you want it more.
It does, and you like being there, and you like sitting there laughing, and you like saying, "Hey, what'd you see in the match?" Or, "Hey, do you mind if I comment? I saw this,
good or bad."
And everybody's trying to make everybody better.
Yeah,
it's not a cutthroat deal. And you again,
isn't it crazy how that can be? If you let it,
as it should be. And I know you said this is not a wrestling podcast, but you can apply that to every aspect of life. If in a teaching situation, I have had teachers who in a competitive way didn't want to share anything because our scores were going to be compared.
Right.
That's not the way it should be. We should all work together. Put that in any situation. You said you take on so much of your, with stress with everybody. That's investing in other people.
It's true. And the good thing, with my job, I'm working with a wonderful company. We have a small group of coaches, but we work together. And we're supportive, and we process stuff together each day. If we run into a challenging situation with a member that we're dealing with, a client, then we brainstorm and we figure out how we can best approach it and how we can best help the person we're working with.
And that's the key.
So it's good to be in a position, whatever your job may be, to have a team, to be a part of something in a positive way.
And if you make what you said, if you, in any area of life, and you want to reduce stress in your life, if you focus on helping other people, which is what you just said you guys do, then that makes everything better.
True.
That makes your job easier, makes your job more tolerable, and you're helping other people. It's going to help them too.
Yeah. Tim, I could sit here in the rain and talk to you all night. But we do have to go lace up boots and get in the ring and do the hard part, right?
Slipovers now, pullovers.
Before we jump off, where can people find you?
Tim Storm 01 on IG, Real Tim Storm on Twitter.
Not fake Tim Storm.
I have that account too.
Okay.
But that's where I post the stuff I don't want anybody to see.
Right.
And then I blame it on somebody else.
Okay. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I'm a social media idiot, and I use social media strictly to post, like to promote wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I do.
And when I stop wrestling, I may get rid of it all.
Please don't.
I may.
We need to see those old pictures with you and the mustache and the cowboy hat.
We do not.
Yeah.
We do not need to see those pictures.
And then people can also find you on NWA television doing commentary and occasional matches and
mostly commentary.
Yeah.
But there's no stress.
Well, you got to pull the occasional match when we need to draw in more viewers.
Yeah, when the sympathy viewers. Yeah, it's in NWA. I think we just moved the weekly show from Fight to YouTube channel.
Yeah,
but we're still on Fight for pay-per-views. We've
Wonderful.
got a live power taping in your hometown. You should be there, by the way.
I'm not there.
I know. On the 31st, and then the next pay-per-view's Tampa.
Okay. Well, it's always a pleasure, and I look forward to chatting again soon. I'd like to bring you back on down the line when we can talk more on the teacher side of it.
You're my friend, and I enjoy talking to you.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else says about you. You're a good guy.
Thank you for standing up for me, too.
Oh, not publicly.
All right. Thank you.
I just want to thank Tim for donating his time to chat with us today. I look forward to having him back in the mix at some point, because there is a lot we can learn from, I think, just even from the teacher perspective and what he's dealing with day to day in that regard. Thank you guys yet again for checking us out. As always, please visit WrestlingMind.com for all things related to the podcast. Please continue to comment, message me, share, subscribe, and review the podcast, because it helps us grow this, and I believe we are really onto something special here. I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. All those links are on the website. Don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks for checking us out today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.